recording. I think we're live. So this is me, Ryan, talking to Kim Meninger. She just finished her TEDx talk a few weeks ago, right?
That's right, March 26th.
Fantastic. So Kim was working. You came to me. You had a bunch of expertise. Still do have a bunch. Now you have more, but a bunch of expertise in the women's leadership space, especially around imposter syndrome. Probably one of the leading women's leadership coaches in the Boston area, I believe. Yes, is that accurate to say? Okay. So I'd love for you to, we're doing this video because I think it's valuable for other people to see you, like, what is it like working with Ryan? And so, yeah, I will, that's kind of my spiel. I should probably plan that a little bit more better next time. But so first off, Kim, congratulations. If you could tell us a little bit about why you wanted to do a TEDx talk in the first place.
So as you mentioned, I've been doing a lot of work with women and focusing on imposter syndrome in particular. And I was having a lot of individual conversations that were really powerful, but I felt like this conversation needed to happen on a bigger scale. I started a podcast in the last couple of years, and that felt like a big step forward, but I always had it in my mind that I wanted to do a TEDx talk. I wanted to really take this message, I would say, to what I perceive to be the highest level from a speaking perspective. And so, I just started thinking about it and thought, maybe I'm ready. I don't know if I actually am at a point yet where I have a message that's worth delivering, but I knew I never wanted to write a book. For me, it was always about doing a TEDx talk.
Why didn't you want to write a book?
It's too time consuming. I'm much more of a speaker than a writer. It just seemed like I would have to put a lot of other things on hold. And so it's just not my way of communicating. So
okay. Oh, cool. Okay. What were you mentioned that there was part of you that believed you could, and there was a part of you that wasn't sure, didn't know if you were really ready at that point. What were the things that made you like to believe in yourself and do it now versus just sort of like waiting? And
I've gotten a lot of feedback that I've had a valuable way of helping people with this problem. So I knew that there was something to what I was offering, and I'm a very comfortable speaker. I do that all the time in a lot of other venues. So I thought it would be a perfect combination to bring my speaking skills and my content expertise to that stage. But when I contacted you, I had no idea what my focus was going to be. What was my actual message? I had a very generalized idea that I wanted to speak about imposter syndrome, but no idea what the actual 11 minutes were going to look like.
Yeah. What made you decide to book a call with me?
I knew that if I were going to do this, I wanted to do it right. And I knew there was a lot that I didn't know. And it felt like a daunting process, even just having gone through the search for the different TEDx events and knowing that every site had a slightly different process. And I just didn't feel confident that I could navigate that on my own. I wanted somebody who knew what it looked like and could make it more efficient, more structured. And so I had been on your email list for a while, and then finally decided, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now, and reached out.
Cool. Okay. What made you decide to hire me? Because hiring me is like it's not a small investment. And it's also like, you're a coach as well. So that there's a difference between looking at someone and going, oh, I know that they must know their thing, and deciding to actually, regardless of the amount, whether it's, $50 or $50,000, there's always that a little bit of, it takes like an increased level of trust to actually, trust yourself to say, yes, this is I'm worth investing in, and this goal is worth investing in, and this person is the person that I'm going to do that with. So what is it that made you actually sign up?
Yeah, so I had talked with at least one other person, and the other person that I talked with was really positioning himself as somebody who could support me with the message. And I would essentially draft my message, and he would provide some guidance on that. And that seemed useful. But what I really liked about what you offered was the really detailed structure that walked through every step of the process, that really helped with what is the idea, how do I test it, what do I, the process that you walked us through just felt like I was doing my due diligence. If I was going to do this, I wanted to take it one step at a time, and I didn't want to make any assumptions. And I felt like working with somebody who maybe was a good speaking coach could help me to understand my message, but it wasn't necessarily going to help me get access to the right TEDx opportunity. And I felt like you covered all the bases.
Yeah, I run into that all the time. Like I like to be adamant to people that I'm working with a lady now who hired somebody, spent thousands of dollars writing this talk, and applied for 50 events, couldn't get booked anywhere. And then now they've come to me like, hey, okay, well, now we admit that we need some help with this part, right? Because it's, a lot of people they're excellent speakers, but they can't get the opportunity they deserve. And so they're kind of stuck. Like no one has heard the message because they can't get booked anywhere, or they can only get booked on like a kind of crappy stage. So that's actually the next thing I wanted to ask you about is what was so I should give people, so everybody always asks me about timeline. So how long was it between the initial, do you remember the roughly, this is April now, we're recording this. Do you remember the application deadline for that particular event? Or like when did you find out from the event that you got booked?
It happened really fast. So I think I connected with them in mid-January.
That is fast, actually.
Yeah. So then they told me to apply by the end of January.
Okay.
Within a week or two, I got an interview. Within a week to 10 days after that, I got the announcement saying that I was accepted. And then it was basically 4 weeks from there.
Okay. So that's a much faster process than many events. So that's interesting because there's people are different, of course. How did it feel? What was the most exciting moment for you? Was it, how did it feel getting like the initial, like, hey, you're in for the second round? And how did it feel getting like, hey, Kim, it's happening. Like you are a TEDx speaker, boom.
That was amazing. I mean, my husband I think he got tired of listening to me talk about it. I was so excited. And with the quick turnaround, I will say, the only reason I was able to do the quick turnaround is because of the work that I had done with you the year before, because the process that you took us through, like I had my message, not only did I have my idea, I had such a detailed outline that I didn't really have to create anything new. I was able to just take some pieces from it for the application. And then when I got accepted, I just fleshed it out a little bit more to match their theme. And it was done. I really felt like there was no way I could have turned everything around that quickly if I didn't have all the pre-work ready to go. And so that helped my confidence too, because if I had had to write it then, I think I would have found a reason that it wasn't the right time.
Yeah. There are, there's some like dirty little secrets of TEDx, right? And one of them is that there are speakers that get booked and then turn down the opportunity because they're like, shoot, I don't know what to do. Or people that get to that interview stage, and when someone is asking them questions and sometimes challenging the idea itself, they don't know how to respond to those questions because they haven't done the kind of the debates and things like that we did. Where like I'm sure at the moment, that stuff that I had you do felt like, oh, this is just extra work. And like, why am I doing like, why am I doing this stupid stuff? Did it feel like that actually, by the way?
It did. Well, I have to say, because I was super busy at the time, it felt like a course that I had homework for that I had to.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I have to do my homework, right? And so there were definitely times when I thought, what am I doing to myself? But I'm so grateful that I did.
Cool.
It definitely saved me a lot of time in the long run.
Cool. Good. How did it feel? I'd be like stepping on the stage.
Oh my goodness. It was such an amazing feeling. got there early. So it was before it was all set up. It was just a regular stage. And then I watched them put the letters up and everything.
Oh, so you saw like the full, like okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't sleep the night before. So I just got there really early. And so I watched the transformation from just average old theater stage to a TEDx stage. And I remember walking onto, the red circle and looking out to the crowd and just thinking, wow. And for a second, I thought, I don't know if I can do this. And then I started talking and it just flowed, and everything just was very natural.
That's cool. I'm looking for, I think it's going to be a couple weeks before your video is online. So what I'll do is I'll link the video below this so people can see that, yes, Kim actually did a TEDx talk and she's a real person. And this is not a fake testimonial and all this kind of stuff, right? Whatever. I love it. I've had comments in Facebook ads where people say like, bullshit, you can't really, you can't really do what you're saying. You're just going to take people's money. And like, well, thank you for challenging me, because here's a YouTube, playlist of a lot of people that are all saying the same stuff, and you can see the link. And so anyways, is there anything else that you like for someone watching, if someone's watching this and they're where you were, with expertise, and maybe they have a coaching business, or they have like they have a book, or even though you hate books, or they have a PhD, or they feel like they have a body of knowledge. Maybe they're not exactly sure how to articulate it, and they know they want to do a TEDx talk. Is there anything else that you wanted to say to them in terms of either what kinds of people should think about this, what kinds of people shouldn't, encouragement, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to assume that everyone else's idea is so much better than your own. I think that's the nature of how we operate as humans. And that was certainly part of my self-doubt and fear before I started doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if you have an area of expertise that you are proud of and that has been validated by other people, that your idea is worth sharing with the rest of the population that's going to view it. So I feel like for me, it was about really understanding what is my message, and then having the formula that you provided so that I didn't have to guess. I didn't want to do any kind of trial and error of, is this the right way to do it? Is this the right way? And so once I decided this is a commitment I want to make, I followed the steps and it worked.
Cool. That's it. So anyways, I'll drop a link below if anybody wants to get in touch with me, and also become a TEDx speaker, as Kim has. And we'll link to Kim's TEDx talk as well. So that's going to be cool. We were talking before we started recording of like just goals in life, and how sometimes it's like, there's a part of your brain that's like, I don't want this. Like, well, I just want an easy life that's just bad, but it really, it's a really fun process. I may have mentioned this to you before, but like, I like to kind of tell people that I don't just help you like get a TEDx talk, I help you become a TEDx speaker, because it really is like, it's hard to describe what it's really like until you do it, I think.
Absolutely. But, that's a good way to say it, because I do think there's a difference there. There is a difference between.
Yeah. Well, and you earn it, right? Like you can't fake it, right? As in like, you have to really have enough expertise in the field and enough knowledge in the field to have something to share. But just because you have a bunch of knowledge, if you haven't been booked yet, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your knowledge. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, or that you don't have enough credentials or experience or whatever. It just means that the elements of the message that best communicate to a TEDx organizer that you should be booked just they're not there yet. And so that's like what I help with, right? Because
and I think you also made a point early on about the themes and being really intentional about aligning your message with the theme. And this particular event that I did, just the theme was perfect for my talk.
Yeah.
And that just, I think, reinforced it. But
Yeah.
not every talk is going to be for every person. And so I think being patient.
Yeah, that's true. And there's also like, there's ways that you can adapt, and any message, like if the message is fundamentally sound, then adapting it, like you said, where you know, you had all the background work done, and so the questions they asked you and like making a talk really fast was kind of easy. Whereas if you didn't have that background work done, like it would have been like way harder. And a lot of people do, they do back out because they don't feel like there is a match there at all. So I think part of, like, not to dismiss like what you just said, but I think any events with any theme, you would have felt the same thing. You would have felt like, oh, this one is perfect for me. This one's perfect for me. And this was perfect for me too. So yeah, there's lots of, you know, I know from my own training and stuff, like the training feels impossible. And then you get to the race and you go, oh, that was so easy. Like I was just so prepared for that one. And you're like, oh no, I forgot that, like, I had to actually get ready and prepare this whole time for months and months and months and months and months. So again, Kim, congratulations. I think we can wrap this video up now because people are getting sick of listening to us talk.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.